So, what is the cause of anger? In chapter 5, we discuss the four options we have when confronted with a message or behavior that we don't like. Anger is generated when we choose the second option. Whenever we are angry, we are finding fault. We are choosing to play God by judging or blaming the other person for being wrong or deserving punishment. I would like to suggest that this is the cause of anger. Even if we are not initially conscious of it, the cause of anger is located in our own thinking. The third option described in chapter 5 is to shine the light of consciousness on our own feelings and needs. Rather than going up to our head to make a mental analysis of wrongness regarding somebody, we choose to connect to the life that is within us. This life energy is most palpable and accessible when we focus on what we need in each moment. For example, if someone arrives late for an appointment and we need reassurance that she cares about us, we may feel hurt. If instead our need is to spend time purposefully and constructively, we may feel grateful for her tardiness and feel pleased. Thus, it is not the behavior of the person but our own need that causes our feelings. When we are connected to our need, whether it is for reassurance, purposefulness, or solitude, we are in touch with our life energy. We may have strong feelings, but we are never angry. Anger is a result of life alienating thinking that is disconnected from needs. It indicates that we have moved up our head to analyze and judge somebody rather than focus on which our needs are getting met. In addition to the third option of focusing on our own needs and feelings, the choice is ours at any moment to shine the light of consciousness on the other person's feelings and needs. When we choose this fourth option, we also never feel anger. We are not repressing the anger. We see how anger is simply absent in each moment that we are fully present with the other person's feelings and needs. All anger has a life-serving core. But I am asked, aren't there circumstances in which anger is justified? Isn't righteous indignation called for in the face of careless, thoughtless pollution of the environment? For example, my answer is consciousness that there is such a thing as a careless action or a conscientious action, a greedy person or a moral person. I am contributing to violence on this planet. Rather than agreeing or disagreeing about what people are for murdering, raping, or polluting the environment, I believe we serve life better by focusing our attention on what we are needing. When we judge others, we contribute to violence. I see all anger as a result of life alienating, violence provoking thinking. At the core of all anger is a need that is not being fulfilled. Thus, anger can be valuable if we use it as an alarm clock to wake us up, to realize we have a need that isn't being met and that we are thinking in a way that makes it unlikely to be met. To fully express anger requires full consciousness of a need. In addition, energy is required to get the need met. Anger, however, co-opts our energy by directing it towards punishing people rather than meeting our needs. Instead of engaging in righteous indignation, I recommend connecting empathetically with our own needs or those of others. This may take extensive practice whereby over and over again we consciously replace the phrase I am angry because they and I am angry because I am needing. I once was taught a remarkable lesson while working with students in a correctional school for students in Wisconsin. On 2, anger co-opts our energy by diverting it towards punitive actions. Successive days I was hit on the nose in remarkably similar ways. The first time I received a sharp blow across the nose from an elbow while interceding in a fight between two students. I was so enraged, it was all I could do to keep myself from hitting back. On the streets of Detroit where I grew up, it took far less than an elbow in the nose to provoke me to rage. The second day, similar situation, same nose, and thus more physical pain, but not a bit of anger. Use anger as a wake-up call. Reflecting deeply that evening on this experience, I recognized how I had labeled the first child in my mind as a spoiled brat. That image was in my head before his elbow ever caught my nose, and when it did, it was no longer simply an elbow hitting my nose. It was that obnoxious brat has no right to do this. I had another judgment about the second child. I saw him as a pathetic creature, Since I had a tendency to worry about this child, even though my nose was hurting and bleeding much more severely, the second day I felt no rage at all. I could not have received a more powerful lesson to help me that it's not what the other person does, but the images and interpretations in my own head that produce my anger.